Grab your favorite alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverage, drink responsibly and do not drink and drive, relax, and enjoy the latest episode of Why Complain When You Can Whine. Everything in this episode is purely for psychoeducational and entertainment purposes only. Enjoy! Welcome to Why Complain When You Can Whine, making sense of the senseless. Join us as we attempt to make sense of toxic nonsense while drinking wine or any other alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverage of your choice. I am Dr. Jody Lorman, licensed clinical psychologist, and I stopped saying this, but I'm saying it again because right now I am in the state of California, licensed in the state of California, and that is important because I no longer identify as American. I identify as Californian. So,
oh, well, that's this
because and tonight it is Passover. By the time we're recording this, by the time it's posted, Passover will be over. However, it is currently Passover, so I am drinking Givon Cabernet Sauvignon Galilee Dry Red, and it is a kosher for Passover wine.
lovely.
But this isn't so much kosher for Passover. Passover, my glass says, "Bitch, I earned this."
Well played, Jody. Well played.
Oh, and that's why I live in California and I'm a Californian.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Okay, well, I am Brianne Burry, or Bree Burry, however you like to address me. I am a licensed a registered therapist in British Columbia, Canada, Vancouver. Yes. So, and I very much still identify as Canadian.
Canadian.
I haven't had to yet identify as a British Columbian.
Hopefully you will not have to.
I
Ever.
won't have to.
I
And
never thought I would not
yes, I
identify as
know.
an American,
I
but now I'm
know.
like,
Yes,
no.
and I can understand that. We haven't been on in a while. I will warn you guys. I've been quite ill for the last little while, and I'm still feeling a bit run down. So if I don't quite sound myself or look myself, I'm still trying to recover. So I've had laryngitis for like a month and a half and other stuff going on, but I'm feeling better and well enough to do tonight's podcast. So
And we are glad you're here.
thank you. Thank you for your patience, Joey.
Of course. Are you drinking anything, tea, anything?
No, I'm actually not. I just crammed some food down, so I apologize of not having any. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna pretend
Pretend.
I have
That's
something.
fine.
I wish, but I can't consume alcohol. I'm on antibiotics.
I think I said before that if I didn't have a private practice and I wasn't seeing clients or anything, I would probably be smoking weed during during our podcast. That's how bad it has become here. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So tonight, we have been talking a lot about the United States and the government and Trump because we talk about toxic behavior and toxic nonsense. And unfortunately, the vast majority of toxic nonsense these days is coming from the United States government. So this is somewhat similar, but this is more on narcissistic personality disorder. Just kind of, we've already discussed that President Trump meets the criteria for NPD, ASPD. He's got histrionic traits. He's got borderline traits. He is a clusterfuck.
He's a cluster B
Cluster
milkshake.
B, cluster milkshake. Yes. And you know how they have those jelly beans that sometimes can taste like boogers, some can taste like fish, stuff like that. He is one of those kinds of milkshakes. He is not a good flavor.
No, no, kind of like pig vomit.
Did you say garlic?
No, I said pig vomit. They should have a flavored jelly bean called pig vomit. That would be
his stinky diaper.
Oh.
Sit. Okay, so this is not necessarily about Trump. This is about NPD. However, I have to give you this little tasty tidbit. Trump put out his amazing physical health record that the doctors just love looking at his body, and they've never seen one like it before. I think they were just in awe of how disgusting someone can actually be. That's why they were looking at it. But he claims he's 6'3" and about 224 pounds. So the New York Police Department, and I really hope this is true, but nowadays there's so much AI and stuff and fake stuff, but I pray that this is true because they put out his arrest height and weight. Because when you get arrested and they book you, they take your height and weight. And it was 5'10", not 6'3". And I think
Of
it was
course.
something like 274 pounds.
Yeah, no, dude, the guy's not fucking 6'3". You can tell by who he stands up against that are
Well, he wears lifts, so. But I'm just like, thank you, New York. I mean, it seems like something they would do because they're also a blue state. So thank you, New York. I just had to put that out there because that gave me a little joy. So I don't know if you all have heard, it has been in the news, but it's kind of been quiet that Bill Maher is a comedian, TV host, political commentator. He's like this jack of all trades that I was also reading about his political views. They are kind of actually all over the map,
hmm
but he does not supposedly like Trump
mm.
at all. So Kid Rock, the upstanding Kid
Yeah,
Rock,
there's a win for you.
wanted to have a kumbaya moment at the White House. So he said, let's get a Trump hater in with Trump and try to blend into, this one nice, United States.
hmm
So Bill Maher went. And I want to let you know what Bill Maher said on his show, Real Time. This is a transcript of what he said. So on March 31st, Maher met Trump at the White House, arranged by his friend Kid Rock. And it turned out to be a surprisingly warm, candid, and friendly one-on-one conversation. Maher was shocked when he presented Trump with a list of past insults Trump had hurled at him over the years, and in epic fashion, Trump signed it, all in good humor. So, okay. So meet up in person. Maybe it'll be a little different. Spoiler alert, it was. First good sign, before I left for the Capitol, I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president had said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife, dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really? A dumb guy fired like a dog? His show is dead? 60. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it, which he did with good humor. And I know, as they say, that millions of liberal, as I say that, I'm sorry, but whoever wrote this, their punctuation is in
Terrible.
really weird places. So I apologize. I'm trying to read it with the punctuation and it doesn't work. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters are just tightening. Oh my God, Bill, are you going to say something nice about him? What I'm going to do is report exactly what happened. You decide what you think about it. And if that's not enough pure Trump hate for you, I don't give a fuck, Maher said. Now, I'm going to read again and continue of what he said Trump was like. And this is really important when we talk about NPD and
hmm
why and how people get sucked into a relationship. And yes, sucked into a relationship. And anyone that's been in a relationship that says, how did I ignore the red flags? Why didn't I see them? Oh my God, they're so clear now. How did I miss them? How did I not notice? Listen to this. Bill Maher continued to explain that he was stunned to see Trump treat him warmly and laugh like he's never seen him laugh in public. When I got there, that mean tweet guy wasn't living there. Now, does Trump want respect? Of course. Who doesn't? My friend said to me, what are you going to wear to the White House? I said, I don't know, but I'm not going to dress like Zelensky, I'll tell you that. Just for starters, he laughs. I'd never seen him laugh in public, but he does, including at himself. And it's not fake. Believe me, as a comedian of 40 years, I know a fake laugh when I hear it. Maher said. No, he doesn't. Sorry. To summarize the meeting, Maher's mind was completely blown, saying Trump is much more self aware and personable than he ever imagined. Everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, Maher said. He explained, he's much more self-aware than he lets on in public. Look, I get it. It doesn't matter who he is at a private dinner with a comedian. It matters who he is on the world stage. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists because everything I've ever not liked about him, I swear to God, absent. At least on this night with this guy, Bob, Kid Rock, told me before, he said, if you want to get a word in edgewise, you're going to have to cut him off. He'll just go on and on. Not at all. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected. People who don't look you in the eye, people who don't really listen because they just want to get to the next thing. People whose response to things you say just doesn't track. Like what? None of that with him. And he's mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown. So is mine. Maher added that he felt far more comfortable speaking with Trump than he ever would have. So does that mean he hasn't? Than he ever would have with Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton. He explained that contrast speaks volumes and is emblematic of why the Democrats are so unpopular these days. I never felt I had to walk around on eggshells around him. And honestly, I voted for Clinton and Obama, but I would never feel comfortable talking to them the way I was able to talk with Donald Trump. That's just how it went down. Make of it what you will. Me, I feel it's emblematic of why these Democrats are so unpopular these days. During their conversation, Maher told Trump, well, Mr. President, I don't like what you're doing regarding Obama's birth origins. I thought that was low. To his shock, Trump responded with grace and no anger. Maher revealed just a little smile, as if to say, yeah, I get it. This is just making me want to throw up a little in my mouth. I'm sorry. The moment Maher described as the most surreal came after the meeting when he watched Trump on TV. Because the man Maher met in prison, he said, that was a Freudian slip. Did you hear what I said?
Yep.
So sorry. The man Maher met in person, he says, was nothing like the one he sees on the screen. Why can't we get that guy I met to be the public guy? Maher asked. He explained, the most surreal part of the whole night was when I got home. I flew back right after the dinner and I'm in bed watching 60 Minutes from the night before. And there's Trump in one of their stories standing at a podium in a room that looked to me like one of the rooms and places we'd just been in. And he's ranting, disgusting. You're a terrible person. And I'm like, who's that guy? What happened to Glenda the Good Witch? And why can't we get the guy I met to be the public guy? And I'm not saying that it's our responsibility to do that. It's not. I'm just reporting exactly what I saw over 2.5 hours. I went into the mine, and that's what's down there. A crazy person doesn't live in the White House. A person who plays a crazy person on TV a lot lives there, which I know is fucked up. It's just not as fucked up as I thought it was. What do narcissists do when you first meet them?
Love bomb you. They're wearing a mask. They tell you what you want to hear. They study you.
They mirror you.
They mirror you.
The only time they're listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that he's here for? What is it that he wants to hear? What is he going to report back?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's going to report back.
Didn't Maher say that Trump called him a dummy and an idiot and all of those things?
He came to him with 60 insulting epithets that Trump had said.
Yeah, about him. And then what did Trump say? He's like, oh, it's good humor or it's all in humor?
He said, no, he just signed the thing, which he did with good humor.
Signed what? Signed what thing?
He gave him a list
Right.
of 60
Yeah,
things that Trump had said about him and showed it to him.
why is he signing it? What's he signing it for?
What does a narcissist sign it for? Because he's going to put it up and it's going to be displayed. And look, I don't care if it's bad publicity because to a narcissist, there's no such thing. It's still going to be talked about. It's still going to keep him relevant. It's going
But
to
what
make
was
him
Bill
relevant
Maher? What was the purpose of him going to Trump with the 60 different insults? And
because he
why
thought that it was going to rile Trump up, I guess.
and so Trump just simply signed it and said and laughed and kind of went, yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah,
Again, is he taking accountability in that moment? I'm really sorry for saying those things about you. No.
no. It's just like, you called me a piece of shit. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and but this is
I
again
did.
how what is Bill missing here in this whole bullshit fake meeting?
As I read this, I was just my blood was boiling. Not because I know who Trump is. I
Oh
don't need
yeah.
to meet with him and all that. We all know that. But I'm wa reading this going, oh my God, you are falling for it.
Mhm,
You are falling for it.
mhm,
That's sadly, unfortunately, what we do on a different level in a romantic relationship because we don't already know what they are,
mhm.
right? This is a
Well,
little different.
it's a public figure. He's trying to manipulate and change Bill's perspective so Bill doesn't go on the air and bash the shit out of Trump. Hello, hi, obvious.
Yeah.
Exactly what he's doing. So he's playing nice. He's being more human. He's being more grounded. He's being more down to earth. He's not being so arrogant. He's not being so haughty. He's not being so blatantly disgusting in his behavior. What purpose would he have to do that, especially when there's no cameras on him and all the rest of it? He's
I want
showing him what he wants him to see.
Yeah, I want to make you my friend. I want you to
Yeah.
like me. I
So
want
that
back.
way you don't go and you don't bash me publicly to everybody out there because you're a huge public figure.
And,
Duh.
and instead, you're going to speak nicely about me. And so all the people around you are going to be like, oh, really?
Yeah, exactly. Again, the whole point is that what does a narcissist fear the most? Their reputation.
Yep. They're
Don't
losing their
want
reputation.
exactly. They do not want their reputation being compromised. And because everybody can see right through the fucktard, excuse my French,
No, I love it.
yeah, then I mean, really, he's got to play every single person out there that's going to paint him in whatever light they see him in. So he just totally got manipulated. He totally got bamboozled. And yet the guy fell hook, line, and
Hook, line,
sinker.
and sinker. And a big clue to me right off the bat was when he said, because Kid Rock and Trump are supposedly buddy buddies, right? And Kid
That
Rock
says a lot right there.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to win over Kid Rock, right? Kid Rock is already a sycophant. Kid Rock
Yeah,
is already a flying monkey.
delusional and an absolute moron. Yeah,
So
I
he
know.
doesn't need. So Kid Rock said, "You're not going to be able to get a word in edgewise. He's just going to keep talking. You got to interrupt him because with Kid Rock, Trump acts like Trump,
Because he can act like Trump because he's already won him over.
right?
He has
But
to win
see,
over Bill Maher because
he
Bill Maher slags him and hates him. And that's exactly what he's doing. And he's a public figure. It'd be no different than anybody else out there. Like, who's the other comedian? The one that's like, fuck off. He always says it. What the hell's his name? Kind of looks like Bill. No, he doesn't look like Bill Maher. He's kind of got like gray, stubbly stuff.
Oh,
Oh,
not Michael Rappaport.
no, 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 no. Oh, he always says "fuck off" and all of this stuff, and it's so funny. Massive public figure. Fuck, I can't remember his name. Anyways, uh,
Comedian
no,
or
no, American.
oh
No, he's not a.
no,
He's
I
not.
said comedian.
Oh,
Sorry.
comedian. Oh yeah, yes, comedian. Yes, sorry. And like years ago, he did a show and he cut his hand live on like with a blender. God, you'd
Oh
recognize
my
him. If
God,
you
yeah.
the hell is it? He always says, let's look up comedian that always says
That's
"fuck
what
off."
I'm looking. Billy Connolly? He's
Nope.
Scottish though, so
No,
no.
no, no, no. He's American. American comedian. Or is he late night show? He's not late night. He's not like Jimmy. Comedian that always says.
That's around now currently?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. Um, Let me go back to this because here there's so many. Like
I'll keep checking.
first good sign. Like first good sign because Trump signed your list of 60 insults. How is that a good sign? I wanted him to sign it, and he did. He signed my list. That's a good sign?
He's what an idiot.
How? Okay. Um, he was stunned to see him laugh in public like that. Laugh like that and ha ha, a genuine laugh.
Yeah, I know.
I, with narcissists, honestly, the only thing genuine about them
Hmm.
is their lies
Yeah, I know.
and their self-loathing.
Yep.
But his laugh, I okay. He, it's not fake. Believe me, I'm a
It's not fake.
comedian. I'm a comedian of 40 years and I can know a fake laugh when I hear it.
He doesn't fucking know a personality disorder if it hit him in the face.
It's like,
Clearly, he just got bamboozled. And maybe he wants to believe it because he was nice to him. I don't know.
he was much more self-aware and personable than Mayer ever imagined.
It's called manipulation in its
Narcissists are,
finest form. They're
and
really
they're
good about taking accountability momentarily to manipulate you to believe that they're different or they're not what you think they. Hi.
full accountability. Because like when he said about the birth, Obama's birth, and
Yeah.
he gave a little laugh like, yeah, I know, or whatever. It's like, no, he
Mhm.
didn't say anything. You're interpreting what
Yes,
he's saying because you're already being pulled in.
I know.
And it's like, oh, narcissists are very, very, very aware of
Hmm.
how they're manipulating you. They're
Hmm.
self-aware in the sense that they very much know what they're doing
Yep.
to manipulate you.
Of course they do.
It's not
It's a
a
game.
fluke.
All there, he's being played. Huge.
It is
Huge.
very calculated,
Yeah, very.
extremely calculated. If you have ever been in a narcissistic relationship and you
Yeah.
go back to the very beginning when
Hmm.
you met them,
Yeah.
and if you can remember the things that they said to you, and you're like, but they seem so nice. Yeah, they knew exactly what they were doing.
Hmm.
He didn't just become this narcissistic person.
Hmm.
Nice to you to get you to like them, to get you to respect them even,
Hmm.
and to get you into their manipulative little whatever they can use you for, they're going to use you.
Well, it's again, it's to use him so he doesn't slag him anymore and he puts him in a good light so more dumb Americans can believe it.
Yep.
So I didn't mean, I shouldn't say that.
That's
The
no,
mega,
you
the
are
mega.
fine. You
No,
are
the mega. No, that's not nice. I really need to, sorry to all those that if that offended you, and my apologies.
you can
It's
tell
just,
she's Canadian.
I am sorry.
I'm like, they
Yeah.
offered to me very
Well,
ignorant.
I'm sorry, but I mean, again, what's right in front of you and yet you refuse to see it, it is just so infuriating. And it is stirring up the entire world. Like, look at the markets. So what's Trump doing now that he's completely crashed the markets, the global markets, the Wall Street, the stock market, and he's made all his money now, and then all the oligarchies are making all their money. Now, because it's really messed up and it hasn't been this low and this screwed up since 2001. He's focusing on the constitutional issue with Buddy who got deported, who's down in what is it,
Yep.
El Salvador?
Yep.
And now we're going to focus on that because we can't focus on the thing that's the real problem, which is the financial crisis that everybody's now in. And the markets are, and we don't know what's going to happen to the economies. And if we're going to go through like a massive depression and a hit
Yep.
and a downturn of the everything, right? Let's focus on something again, deflect, 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 deflect.
And this is how people become flying monkeys, too.
Mhm.
This is how they become flying monkeys because he was so nice to Bill Maher, so
Mhm.
kind. And Bill Maher is like, you can take it for what you want.
What an I like Bill Maher, but that really is disappointing. John Stewart, that's who I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. Oh, I love
Yeah.
John Stewart.
John
Okay.
Stewart is the one that's like, fuck off. Anytime Trump and the between and everything and what's going on, he's a very, you know, he's a comedian, but yeah,
Hmm.
controversial, right?
Well, just like he brought up this very important thing that he is just like, I have to say, Mr. President, I don't like what you were doing with regarding Obama's birth origins.
And look how he didn't answer the question. He just smirked.
just a little smile, as if to say, yeah, I get it.
But he didn't say, yeah, I get it. And he
No,
still didn't defend his actions
no, but
at
Bill
all.
Maher took it as,
But he took it as he's defending, oh, like, yeah, I get that you're upset about that. I understand, but not at all trying to back up his why he does it or why he did it or what he's doing.
no.
Just basically, so here's the funny thing, Bill. You're being breadcrumbed. Like, fuck. In this sense that it's like he's not even taking real accountability for what he's doing and what he said. And again, that quote, as if he's saying, I get it. But what does I get it mean? Oh, you acknowledge the fact that that pisses me off and frustrates me, and I don't think it's right, but you're not going to continue to say, you know what, you're wrong, you're right, I'm wrong. I shouldn't have done it, or I don't really believe in that. Whatever. He just simply smirks.
And because we know when you know a narcissist, he doesn't think he did wrong. He still to this day doesn't think he did wrong.
He doesn't think he did wrong. It's why he didn't back it up with any verbal anything. And even if he did
No,
back up with verbal, it's all bullshit.
it's all bullshit. And it mm, why can't we get the guy I sorry. I'm really sorry because this is something I think so many of us have thought, but I'm going to word it differently when I'm done. Why can't we get that guy I met to be the public guy? How many of us have said, why can't he be the person that I met when I met him? Why
Yeah,
can't he be?
exactly. Why can't he go back to being the most amazing, loving, caring, will do drop anything for me, that like to be there, be you're being love bombed.
When I read that line, why can't we get the guy I met to be the public guy? I cannot tell you how many times I have felt, why are you like this with my ex? Why you were like this before? You showed so much promise. You were so nice. You were so kind. And now you're being a dick. Where is that other
They
guy?
do this all the time. They do, they again, it's manipulation to reel you back in. It's the intermittent reinforcement. It's the lovely little tidbits of greatness that you're starving to get back. It's
Yeah.
why you don't leave an abusive relationship. It's why the abuser is able to get you to be trauma bonded to them because they literally will feed you the dopamine hits that keep
Yes.
you that you fight to get back. Why can't I? And that's why you stay, because you hold on to false hope. So you're holding
Potential.
on. Potential.
There
You're holding on to potential. That potential doesn't fucking exist.
never
It's not,
exists.
it never existed. You're holding on to an illusion that the narcissist created. You
Yeah.
don't miss them, you miss the illusion. You
Yeah.
don't miss them, you miss everything that they fed you, the mask. The mask isn't real. And again, he's falling hook, line, and sinker for all this shit. And
When
it's so blatantly obvious.
and there's so many because I have dealt in private practice and just friendships and people I knew of people that are like when they leave a
Oh,
narcissist, it's so hard because you think once they say just don't leave me, whatever, you're like, I know there's so much potential, and if I just work harder, I'll get that potential. We'll reach that potential. And you will
again,
never,
no.
ever, ever, ever reach that
No,
potential.
you won't. It's not
Ever.
real. It's all manipulation. They're telling you what you want to hear. Here's the thing. If actions don't meet words, if words don't meet it's all words are BS.
Hmm.
Sorry, folks.
It's okay.
So,
Yeah, that line right there, you know that Bill Maher, I'm not gonna say he's trauma bonded, but you know
well,
right
we
there,
can't
this
say
is
that. It's you're just falling for the narcissistic
right.
bullshit mask. And the thing is that what you see him being in public is who he really is. He is playing you because he wants you to think he isn't what he is. So you go back and tell your
Yeah.
audience just
And if
that.
this was a romantic relationship, this is the stuff that starts the trauma bond.
It does. It
This
starts
is
the
the stuff,
enmeshment. You
yeah.
can't leave.
And that's why I
You
say I'm not calling this it.
no,
No. What I'm saying is if this was a romantic relationship, these are the kinds of things that get you to,
exactly. Stay hooked. And it's like heroin. You can't give it up. If you look at any sort of traumatic bonding, whether it's battered women syndrome, Stockholm syndrome, trauma bonds, like again, the person goes back to the abuser over and over and over again. There was an episode I'll never forget watching, and it was such an unbelievable example of battered women syndrome. And it's a British drama called Call the Midwife. It's actually a really good show. It's on the BBC and it's been out for quite a few years and I think they're on the 13th season now.
Oh, wow.
There was an episode where it basically takes place in the 50s in London, in East Poplar, which is a poorer area. And women, like in Europe, they have midwives to deliver babies, right? So it's the real memoirs of one of the nurses and the midwives of the 50s in the East Side that would deliver these babies. And what it is it brings in the sociocultural of the times, like thalidomide that disabled
Oh, gosh, yeah.
and that whole era of what women were faced with and what the demographic was and what we don't face now, but what they faced then and the poverty and all the rest of it. There was an episode where there was a woman pregnant with her second baby and was in this dynamic where the midwife went to go and call and do the checks and realized there was domestic violence and abuse. And the way the husband spoke to her, and you could see her sort of cower, and then he realized she was there and he put on this beautiful mask and he was so nice and so charming, good looking. And the little girl's hiding behind the couch and then she's doing the check and she can see that she's been beaten and she's got bruises on her body. And she's like, where are these coming? Oh, he loves me. He loves me. You don't understand. You don't understand. And it's your typical case of physical domestic violence, which it doesn't always have to be physical. We don't define domestic violence as
No.
physical at all anymore, just physical. But she leaves and is worried. And she winds up going and having to have the baby in a hospital because they didn't trust that she'd be safe in her home. And they had to remove the little girl. And the mother-in-law was looking after the little girl, and the husband was, anyways, she snuck out of the hospital with her brand new born son, went back to the abuser. The abuser started prostituting her out, and she would leave her 5-year-old daughter with her infant son, dr put alcohol in their bottles to
To knock
comatose
them out.
to knock them out so she could go, you know, she was escort, like her husband would prostitute, and there wound up being a fire. And they got the babies out, but they'd been abandoned and left alone. And this is what she was leaving her children alone. And she wound up going to prison. Husband went to prison. Kids went into grandmother's custody, but she couldn't leave him. She was so trauma bonded. That is your typical case of battered women syndrome, where
Yeah.
she literally was abusing her children, putting alcohol in their bottles and
Mhm.
getting them to pass out at the age of like the little girl, maybe she was like 3 or 4. I don't remember. But this is your typical case where, and people look at you and they go, why the hell can they not leave? This makes no sense. Until you are in that position, you have no idea. It is like heroin because of the intermittent reinforcement. When you have no self-worth, no self-esteem, you really hold on to that hope, that potential. But they say, and I just want them to come back, and I just need that affection, and I need the love, and I need them to tell me because they don't think they can do any better.
And you know what? With psychological manipulation, I hear that so many times, but they're not hitting me.
Oh my God. So both abusers I've had in my own life, okay? So I'm just gonna say it. Ex-husband, full-blown, ASPD traits. Actually, both were. And last guy. And anytime I even brought up the fact that they were narcissistic abusive, this is abuse, and they're like, oh yeah, haha, and they'd laugh it off like I really fucking hit you. And I'm like, what? What? Yeah, that's not the definition of domestic violence, you
No.
moron. But
Mm.
an abuser will always downplay it and say, but I don't hit you. But I don't rape you. I don't hit you. I don't beat you. I don't,
What a good person I am.
because I
You're
don't
not
hate.
seeing it. I don't
Yeah.
hit you. I
Yeah.
don't
I still get,
neglect you.
I still
Look
get,
at all the gifts I bought you.
yep.
Yeah, they're guilt gifts to
Yeah.
keep,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly. 120%. Oh yeah, I'm so abusive because I hate you so much. And I'm like, the emotional and the lack of emotional and intellectual intelligence when it comes to an abuser, because they have to downplay it. They will always downplay their behavior as not being abusive. Even
Mhm.
if they hit you, they would still make some sort of excuse
You
as to
made me.
it's not as bad as Bob down the road who beats the shit out of
Or,
me. Like
my
it's
God,
a
you
lot
were in
worse.
my face. I
Yeah.
was protecting myself. You were like right there
Spazzing.
screaming at me. I
Yeah.
Or I was going to hit the wall, not you.
Yeah.
I
But you
told you
just
to
got in my
move.
way. You know,
Yeah,
here I read a quote that was actually really good today, and it says, just remember the last time that he hit the wall, punched a wall, slammed a door, or broke an object, he wanted that to be your
your
face.
face. Yep. Yeah. And I am going to tell you because statistics since 2007, I've been going on domestic violence CEUs and taking or going to classes, taking CEUs, stuff like that. And then a friend of mine used to work in the domestic violence hotlines and things. And so I asked if the statistics were the same, pretty much the same. You can almost guarantee, I don't want to say guarantee because there are exceptions, but verbal abuse, emotional, psychological abuse eventually turns into
Yeah,
physical abuse as well.
it is. Yep.
So, and trust and believe, because I know that my ex toward the end, and you might not think that this is physical abuse when it happens, but like at one point, I'm sitting on his lap and he got mad and he pushed me and threw me on the floor like hard.
That's violence. That's physical violence.
And that's why I said some people might be like, but that's not violence.
Yeah,
Or when
yeah,
it happens
yeah.
to you, you might
Actually,
use it
here,
as
physical
that's
violence is them hitting a wall. Read Lundy Bancroft's
yes,
book on why does he do that. It's about abusive men. It's
yeah.
all about the abusive man and exactly how and why. If they are showing physical aggression, even to a wall, a door, an object,
It's
no,
going to
it
be
will turn into you.
next.
So my
He,
ex-boyfriend broke a fan. We were fighting. I came inside. I decided to lie down. And he was pissed off because I just walked away. I wasn't engaging with him anymore. And I didn't want to talk to him anymore. And he literally fucking threw the fan and he broke the fan. And I remember thinking, and then he fixed it. And then he was laughing about it later. He's like, oh, thank God I fixed your fan. And I'm like, you so wanted that to be my face.
my ex, we were on a cruise and you have to get to the bus or the bus will leave if you're on excursion. So I told my ex, we gotta go. We gotta go. And he was pissed. He's holding my hand and I'm like trying to get to the bus so we don't get left behind. And he squeezed my hand. He was so pissed off at me, so hard that my ring left an indentation in my finger for about a
Mm.
day.
Yikes, that's
Indentation of the diamond about a day. He was holding it so hard, I thought he was going to break my hand.
hmm
And I think he would have loved to have broken my hand if he could have gotten away with it. Not
hmm
going to lie. I
hmm
think he would have.
hmm
And in the moment, though, you know that it's wrong, you know that it's bad, but you can excuse it. I hate to say this, but you can excuse it away as he was just
Yeah.
frustrated.
He had a moment. He was frustrated. I've done it. I've done it. I've been in situations like that. I had a boyfriend before I got married. And we dated only for a couple of years. I was about 24, he was 27. And in a fit of rage after we've been fighting for a long time, he literally came and he sat down beside me and I was just a limp noodle lying on the couch and I'd been crying and crying and I was crying and I was sort of lost for words. And he literally grabbed me by my hair and he lifted me up off the floor, not even angry, not in a fit of rage. And that scared the absolute shit right out of me because I thought, if you can do that when you're not even flipping out anymore, because we have breaking points, right? Like we're all capable of it.
Yeah.
And so when we're angry and you're mad, I mean, it's like, but he wasn't. And it was just the complete level of disrespect and hatred he had for me. And it was just gross. And I will never forget that. And I was like, ow, ow, ow. And he's like, if you don't stop crying, you can go home.
One thing that toxic people and narcissists cannot stand, and they will tell you, I don't like my ex when my ex cried. I
Nope.
don't like when so and so cried. I don't cry in front of me. I don't like it.
Yep. My ex-husband does it to my kids. Oh my God, why are you crying?
Yeah.
And same thing with me. And it's like again, and it's like, oh, you're being melodramatic, or oh yeah, play victim again. Oh, you're crying.
Yeah.
Ex-boyfriend hung up on me. He's like, fuck, if you're gonna keep crying, fuck, I'm out. And then hang up. Like when you're bawling your eyes out, and then they hang up on you, and you're like, What?
I was just gonna say my ex used to say to me, "Oh my God, I hung up on my ex because she was crying. I hate crying. I'll hang up on you if you cry." That is so funny that that's what you just said because I was
Yep.
about to say that because that's
Yeah.
what they will do.
Yeah, I'm so sick of you crying. If you keep crying, he's like, fuck, I'm done. And then hung up. And I'm like, I cannot believe you hung up. Well, I was like, oh, again, sick,
Yeah.
sick people. But this is no different. Like Bill's just getting completely duped. Unfortunately, Trump is as illiterate and fucking moronic as he is. He's not stupid
Mm-mm.
in a sense that he knows how to play people. He does that
That's
with
yeah.
everyone. Sorry.
Narcissists might not be intelligent,
Yeah.
common sense smart.
Yeah,
They are extremely smart in the art of manipulation.
they are. Oh,
I
100.
know Trump has a book called The Art of the Deal, and he's just an idiot. And he has bankrupted six businesses and all that.
Yeah.
He actually, if you want to give Trump credit where credit is due, it is the art of narcissistic manipulation.
Oh, 100%. He's a con man. Cons
Big
people.
time. And when you
Huge.
add the ASPD in there,
Yeah.
fuck. And then the borderline and the ASPD or the histrionic are minor compared to the NPD and ASPD.
I know. Yeah, the history of he's just such a fucking gross. Oh my God, they're begging to make a deal with me. Begging, begging, begging.
Begging. I have 70. No, you don't. And we're isolating China in the world stage. No, motherfucker. You're isolating the United States because everybody is going to China
Yep.
to
More
make
everything's
deals.
going against you. He's
Um,
again pausing tariffs again. Like, okay, yeah, he's back, he's barred. I'm like, it's a negotiation tactic. He's playing everybody.
and he says, Bill Maher says, why can't we get okay, sorry, let me go back. What happened to Glenda the Good Witch? And why can't we get the guy I met to be the public guy? Because Glenda the Good Witch was a fucking mask to
Yeah.
reel you in, which is exactly what he did. And
And
you
it
will not see that anymore. And
worked.
probably if Trump read all of this, which I'm sure he did,
Oh yeah.
next time Bill Maher were to go to the White House,
hmm
don't know that he would have the same interaction.
No. Or he would do it again just to make sure he solidifies that connection. I mean, the whole idea is,
Go on. I'm going to counter that a little bit because I think it'll be like if you say this was 100% mask, just, a way to visualize this, he would have a 50% mask next.
yeah, yeah, it would. It was true. Like he would go back and Trump wouldn't be quite as on his A game as he was the first time around because
Yeah.
he had to manipulate him to convince him that he's not this bad guy. As soon as he's got him wrapped around his finger and he knows he's got him where he wants him, the mask will completely fall off.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, he'd go based on what he senses and what he's
Yeah.
getting. Bill, right? Like if Bill goes back and he's got some hesitation. But I mean, still, he went with a list of 60 different insults and Trump didn't even say sorry.
No, he signed it. What a great guy.
And what does
He
that mean,
signed it.
Bill? What does that mean that he signed it? Like, what is it, an autograph?
Yeah.
Getting to autograph the fact that he insulted you and you're okay with that?
And a narcissist is like, exactly, he wants my autograph. Even though he didn't ask me, oh no, he did ask me to sign it. Sure. Please post this in a very prominent spot so everyone can see my name as they walk by over and over and over again.
He just looks every single time that frown, that
Huh. Huh. God. I can't. I can't.
the orange blob.
I can't.
Pumpkin head squash nuts.
It is hard living in the United States right now.
I bet it is, Jodes. I don't know. I'm glad I live where I live, but I mean, we're coming up to our own election, and I feel like they're treating our own election like the U.S. election. It's a bit scary. And I mean, I don't know what. what Trump is getting at. We've got Mark Carney running for prime minister for the Liberal Party, which is what your Democrats would be, and then we've got Pierre Polyev, who is running for the Conservative, which is what the Republicans are, right? And unfortunately, as much as I've, again, a very liberal stance, but with conservative views on certain things and being self-employed
Yeah.
and running my own business, it's usually been more of a, I've gone more of the conservative side of things, but not to the point where, like, because there's no church and state here. We don't mix with
Socially conservative,
socially conservative and then,
socially liberal, sorry,
right,
fiscally
socially liberal.
conservative.
Yes, exactly. So, but I have to say, Pierre Polyev scares the shit out of me. He is
Who's
a
here now?
Mark Carney. We had Trudeau. Trudeau stepped down.
Yeah.
So Justin's gone because he knew that the Liberals wouldn't get back in if he was still in power because he's fucked up so much over the last 8 years. And so, but he really did take a good stance as he exited when Trump was threatening the tariffs. Like he really did stand up to Trump and it was like, where the hell have you been for the last 8 years? Like,
Yeah.
buddy, right? And but I mean, honestly, the world was suffering. The economies around the globe were suffering. It wasn't just, but did he do good? No, he's royally screwed up. Mark Carney is way better than Trudeau is, and he should have been in power a long time ago. And he's got a PhD in finance and all the rest of it. Like he's a smart guy. He's a really, really smart guy. But the fear is that because the Liberals have screwed up so much over the last 8 years, and we need
Uh,
our economy to come back, which way do we go? But Pierre Poilievre as Trump. Now, we will never face things like Roe v. Wade or overturning anything. Women will always have rights to their bodies. We never have to worry about the abortion shit happening and what you guys go through down there. Our body's our choice. We will never, ever, ever, even if we go conservative, it's not like conservative in the US because we don't mix church and state. And so we don't have the same issues per se, except Polyev has never fucking had a job a day in his life. He's been nothing but a politician. He's never worked. He's been like, and I mean, he's just arrogant. There's an arrogance about him that is similar to Trump, and it's all about that group. It's kind of like, oh, what the hell is his name? Kevin O'Leary, piece of shit. You know who that is? Yeah, Kevin O'Leary, Shark Tank. Yeah, right. And he's Canadian. He's from Ontario,
oh,
and the psychologist Jordan
oh,
Peterson.
yeah.
Oh, don't even get me started. Don't. He's a
Yeah.
dinosaur and he's a fucking misogynistic piece of shit.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started. Jordan Peterson, Kevin O'Leary, and Pierre Polyev and Danielle Smith, and Danielle Smith is the premier of Alberta. And Alberta has always been like, we want to be part of the US. We don't want to be part of Canada. Because everybody who's a Trump-loving mega freak that's Canadian,
Wants to
all
come.
live in
Yeah.
Alberta.
How about we switch? You guys come to the US and
Yeah,
all the
here's
blues
the
will
deal.
go.
Alberta, you can go be part of the US and California
Be
can be
part,
part
yeah.
of Canada.
California, Oregon, Washington,
Yeah.
and I think it's Illinois. I don't know, the blue
Exactly.
over there.
And then when you come part of our country, you will have insane gun laws and nobody's going to get shot and killed anymore. We're going to keep
Healthcare
it capped.
and free healthcare, which it might not
Healthcare.
be amazing, but it's got to be better than paying for healthcare that's not amazing.
I'm not kidding you. You don't pay for anything here. I've
I'd
had
rather
three
have
children and I
free,
didn't pay a dime.
unamazing healthcare than paid for unamazing healthcare.
Yeah, but again, like, I mean, yeah, you have to wait a little bit depending on what you've got. And I mean, our healthcare system isn't perfect, but I'd much rather not go bankrupt. And having a baby, I had a private room, I had private care, and I didn't pay a dime.
Let me go back to Bill Maher for a minute
Yeah.
because he is now saying that I should be a hero for going there to the White House and doing those things and saying those things to the president. I'm not the villain here, declared Mayer, who has been milking every last bit of attention he can get from his dinner with the president.
Okay, so he's also highly narcissistic, and look at his ego.
I don't know that he's
I'm not the
because I
villain.
don't know him that much, but he does have an ego. Absolutely, yes.
Well, but again, but that is narcissism. What is narcissism is the human ego. That's what it is. We can have a healthy narcissism and then we can have
Yeah,
pathological narcissism.
NPD, yes. Difference
NPD is
between egocentric
pathological.
narcissist and
Okay.
NPD
So
narcissist.
again, if you look at the clinical term narcissism, narcissism is again is just the human ego. We all have narcissism. It's whether it's healthy or pathological.
Yes.
So I'd say, Bill, with that statement alone, is rearing to more of the pathological side of things. Doesn't mean he's NPD, doesn't mean he's a narcissist. It means that he's got a very inflated ego
Yeah.
and that it's an arrogant statement.
And then he says, triggered by the criticism he got for his cozy recap of the media meetup, the real-time ringleader complained that he wasn't getting enough credit for coming to the table with the Republican without compromising his strong centrist value.
Wasn't getting enough support. Go,
I had the
Why did you get
opportunity to go,
support?
I had the opportunity to go to the White House and talk to the president and not give up my principles. It seems like nobody noticed I didn't go MAGA. I had the opportunity to talk to Donald Trump and say the things to him that maybe he never hears. Literally to speak truth to power. I shouldn't take that opportunity.
Oh, so he's crying because he's not getting the attention he wants. Again, that's pretty narcissistic.
Do I have great hopes that saying anything to him is going to change anything? No, but you have to try.
Dude, you can't try. Okay, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's not a smart man. He may be a comedian, but he's not a smart dude. Nope. Nope, 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 nope.
I have to give narcissists, NPD narcissists credit. They're very, very good at what they do.
Yes, they are.
Insanely good. And I've told so many people, it is not you. It is not you. They're very good. You put, I don't know, Neil deGrasse Tyson in a room with a narcissist for 2 weeks straight, even a week straight, with no break, he's going to come out doubting himself and believing the narcissist. They're
120%.
that good.
Well, because they can dupe a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a person who's trained in, like, I'm sorry, but you were probably about the fifth psychologist I know that's been duped by a narcissist because they will tell you what you want to hear. Even as a therapist, we all know this. They can come in claiming that their ex and their person or the person that they're the narcissist, they're narcissistic and blah, 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 and tell you what you want to hear. And what are you going to do? You have to take their word for it until you start seeing certain behavioral issues that come forth, maybe, but even then, they can fool anybody.
Because usually those behavioral issues come through after.
Yes, after, massively.
We don't get the opportunity to see them on TV acting like Trump
No,
and see them and hear them and all that, and then say, but wait a minute. But that's how good they
but
are.
but it
Yeah.
depends. We've met some pretty dumb narcissists, Jody. We know one in particular that we have a shared common thread with or whatever. We're not going to list any names right now, but this is how we met. And I will never forget the first time I had a personal encounter with this person via a Zoom call of some sort. And, he's running a toxic group and saying, oh, the narcissist this, and he's trying to educate everybody about narcissism and toxic narcissists and yeah, yeah, yeah. First thing he says to me is how much money he has and his ex was being paid off like he had to pay her off like $8 million. And I went, this guy is the narcissist. He's so full of shit. I can smell him from a mile away. It didn't even take me 5 minutes into that conversation, and he gave himself away.
Our very first conversation. After that conversation, I told a friend of mine, he's got narcissistic traits and tendencies. I'm not going to say he's a narcissist. I don't know him well enough, but he has enough traits and tendencies that I'm keeping
Your distance.
a little distance between. So everything he said to me, thank goodness I was able to be like, okay.
Mm.
Mhm. Your best friend is the richest guy in the world, but it's not Elon Musk. But oh, but he keeps a low profile, because he doesn't want to be known as the richest guy. Sure, okay, I'm
Hmm.
not falling for it. But
Hmm.
yeah, you once you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But unfortunately,
What's the Wolf of Wall Street dude? Jordan, what's his last name?
I
Guy
don't know,
that plays
but
Wolf of Wall Street.
yeah,
Well, Leonardo DiCaprio played the movie, but Wolf of
yeah.
Wall Street is Jordan fucking, oh fuck, I can't remember his name. I can't think of it.
People are
Anyway,
like yelling at the screen right now. The name.
yeah, right. It'll come to me in a second. Anyways, uh, he knows I'm Canadian. And when I said that my ex,
Jordan Belfort.
thank you, Jordan Belfort, He said, I said my ex is Jordan, and he goes, oh, are you Jordan Belfort's ex? Like, um, no. I'm like Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort. He's like, oh yeah, I works with him. I works with him. I'm like, I wouldn't be bragging about that. That guy's a piece of shit, but and got in a lot of trouble and ripped a lot of people off and is a criminal. And then of course I did my homework and he's also a criminal. But anyways, on the whole, he asked me if I was Jordan Belfort's ex, and I'm like, do I look old enough to be his ex? He's a lot older and she's a lot older. And secondly, I'm Canadian. I've never lived in New York. I'm not American. Hi. Yeah. Not very smart.
But narcissists, and I've said this so many times, they do not pick you because you are vulnerable. They do not pick you because you are weak. They do not pick you because you are stupid. They
No,
pick you because they think they can gain something,
from you. I know.
some kind of status. Either
Mhm.
you're better looking than them, you're richer than them, you are highly educated, more educated than them, anything that
Yep.
can bring them up.
Yep.
So, like, Bill Maher, for example, what can he do for the president? It's always about, for a
Hey,
narcissist, what can this person
do
do
for me.
for me?
What can I gain from them? It's exploitation.
Yes.
It's
That
not,
is that is a criteria
it
is
is.
exploitative behavior.
Yeah, exploitative behavior, using and abusing. What can I gain? What can I get? Exploit all day long, extort, whatever,
And
everything.
if you're someone like Bill Maher and you're thinking, I don't know if he was or not, but oh my God, I'm so much lesser than the president. So no, I can't do anything for him. Bullshit. You're on TV. You have a show. You
You're a
have
public figure that
following.
everybody watches and everybody follows you. That's why he's nice to you because you can do something for him, which has changed his
100%.
terrible reputation.
Yes. Yes. Which is, I'm going to make you a flying monkey.
Mhm.
How many of those 200, I think, or 100 that are anti-Trump now that were in his party, in his cabinet, in his everything for the first term, and they're very anti-Trump now?
Mhm.
Why, people? It's not just because they don't like his policies. It's not. It's because he is a motherfucking cluster bee milkshake, a very toxic person, a psychopath. I'm not even going to call him a sociopath because he's not good enough looking and suave enough and debonair enough. He's a fucking lump
Psychopath.
of diaper shit.
Yeah, he is a lump of diaper shit. Totally.
So that is why people left, because what happens to eventually, I don't like to use absolutes, but every single person in a narcissist orbit, what happens?
Mm. They leave. They go.
He fucks a nar
He fucks them
he
over.
or she fucks
Mhm.
them over. You will guaranteed get in a narcissist's radar
Mhm.
and rue the day you met the narcissist because they will do whatever the fuck they can. The smear campaign, all of that. If you say one bad thing about them, you are gone.
Yep. Or again, they wind up fucking over people so much and everybody walks away from them. They struggle in interpersonal relationships and they don't have in-depth relationships. They don't have deep friendships. They don't have deep connections. Everything is surface. It's all
And
bullshit.
it's all based on a threat.
It's all based on
Like
all
with
of it.
Trump, they all love him because I will fuck you over. I'll withdraw funds. You can't go into a federal court. I'll take your clients, all of that. It's a smear campaign on a very big level, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's also why people are bowing down and taking a knee to him because I will ruin your life. And as president, I can
Oh,
do
they're
that.
scared. Or he's paying them off or both, whatever. But I mean, nobody's standing up to him.
However, if you get a group, one by one, narcissists will pick you off. One by one, they will eat you alive.
Yeah,
A
they do.
group, a group will get a narcissist to go elsewhere.
Yeah, but you have to have more than one person stand up to him at the same time.
I
That's
said a group.
exactly a
You
group of
need a
people.
group.
can't just do it individually or it's too
No.
scary.
If they get found out by one person, they can battle that.
Mhm.
If they get found out by everybody in that employment, friendship group,
Yep,
whatever, they will leave. They will
yep,
go elsewhere and find a new group.
that's what they do.
So these are just some of the traits of the narcissist.
So
And
just so you guys are aware, this is just, we did this because this is an example of a classic narcissistic mask and classic narcissistic manipulation. Bill Maher, and the whole point of this podcast is so that you see in live time that this is a typical
how they weave the
and
web.
how they weave the web and how they manipulate to gain. And it worked in this case, and Maher can't see it. So that was our
Your, if you have left a narcissistic relationship recently, or even a while ago, and are wondering, how, how, go back, look up Bill Maher White House visit, read it over and over again, and you'll be like, okay, I'm not an idiot.
no, you're
Because
not.
honestly, I've had people say, I must be stupid. I must be an idiot. I must be weak. And I'm like, no, I guarantee you, it is done with such a fine silk thread that
Yeah, it
they're
is.
weaving that web.
100%. Yep.
So
Yep. It
go and
is.
read it, look it up and read it. And I apologize for my reading of it because when I read it to myself, I didn't look at the punctuation. And as I was reading it out loud, I'm like, why did they put a comma here? That made
It's,
no
well,
sense.
I think everybody pretty
I
much,
apologize.
you guys got the gist of it, of what it was about. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty sad, but
So, on that note, you guys like, share, subscribe, please. I'm not begging. I'm just saying we need 55 more to reach 1,000, which is amazing. We appreciate each and every one of you. That did sound a little begging. I'm so sorry. I'm going to blame the wine and not having any food.
that,
But seriously, like, subscribe, share, comment. We love your comments and questions.
we do. So
And this is, and if anybody has been in this situation, please don't feel stupid because I do get that all the time. People feeling really dumb, really stupid, beating up on themselves.
that's the worst part. The hardest part about healing from narcissistic abuse really is the fact that you're going to be relentlessly hard on yourself because you feel so humiliated. I mean, it's a tough one. Especially knowing that you saw a lot of these red flags and then you were stuck and couldn't leave. That's a real kicker. But it isn't. These guys are so people, this has been fine-tuned behavior from childhood.
For their whole,
They've
I was just going to say their whole
whole
life.
lives. They've known how, because they're maladaptive coping strategies in order to get their needs met that weren't met. If you look at Trump's past, it's actually quite sad. His dad was horrifically abusive, right? So Donald Trump's dad was horrific, and this is not for you to
This does not excuse anything.
doesn't excuse anything. It's just his dad was very demonstrative. He's very abusive. He's violent. And then he had a weak mother who tolerated it, who didn't walk away, protect her kids, right? And this is exactly what led to his demise. Um, yeah,
So,
but
also, guys, if you have questions about narcissistic personality disorder, cluster B, or just you think something would be a good topic,
yeah, please post below on what topics are you want us to talk about. And just about being that we both work in the mental health world, we're well versed in most areas, so,
and if
right?
we could answer it in the comments, or it could become a podcast.
Hmm.
It all
Right,
depends.
right.
So, thank you so much, and I hope you feel better, Bree. And we are so happy that you're here, though.
I
Thank you
know I
so
missed all
much.
of you. Thank you so much for your patience.
And we will see you guys soon.
Sounds good. Bye, guys.
Bye.